In time we hate that which we often fear. Shakespeare. Imagine your whole life at a young age crashing down upon you. Everything you know is turned upside down one moment. Confusion. You begin to hate the very people that are causing you so much fear. In this case, however, these people are the Taliban. I'm Gabby Gerbis, and I'm going to take you through the novel I chose, My Forbidden Face by Latifa. My Forbidden Face is a memoir written by a young girl who was just 16 years old when the Taliban overthrew her home city of Kabul, Afghanistan. The book describes the 4 long, dark, grueling years she had to endure under the Taliban rule before she fortunately escaped to France. The only name the author gives is Latifa. She is unable to announce her real name because she fears what cruelty the Taliban may unleash on her family still living in Afghanistan. Latifa was invited to France to expose the mistreatment of women by the Taliban. Little did she know that she would never see Afghanistan again. Little did she know that she would write an entire published work revealing the horror and the cruelty of which the Taliban are capable. The book describes the initial capture of Kabul, including a horrific description of the Afghani leader's body dangling from the town square. It also features the Taliban's oppressive new rules, such as women being restricted to living in the home, unable to leave without being accompanied by a man close to them, such as a father, an uncle, a brother, a spouse, or a cousin. If they do leave the house, they must be donned in a chadri or a burqa, a head-to-toe veil with only a peephole for eyes. This book contained astonishing and interesting subject matter. Unfortunately, it was not written very clearly due to poor organization and random flashbacks. In my personal opinion, this book is not written very clearly. Sporadic flashbacks prevail, while a steady plotline is severely lacking. Despite the disappointing organization, the author did achieve her goal of exposing the Taliban and sharing her story. However, one must question if it was due to her writing style or the subject matter. The Taliban tales were thrilling and chilling enough on their own, without Latifa's help. In other words, anyone who experienced what Latifa did could have written this book. I could have written this book. Or you could have written this book. The point is, the subject on which it was based outshone the writing style. The book fell short in organization when it came to random and unnecessary flashbacks. The back of the book is somehow deceiving. Instead of depicting a young girl's experiences under the Taliban rule throughout the whole book, only about 1/2 of the book covers just that. The rest is comprised of background information on Soviet occupation of Afghanistan, or perhaps certain pre-Taliban events or memories. Sometimes, entire chapters were devoted to an event that occurred 5 years previously. The transition between current time and flashback, or from flashback to current time, were often difficult to distinguish. However, I must commend the solid 1/2 of the memoir that really zoned in on the daily life of a female in Taliban Afghanistan. Latifa made her stories fast-paced and compelling, which made me, as the reader, wanting to read more. One of the most commendable elements in this book was the exquisite imagery and the concise tone that shone throughout the entire book. This distinguished tone of anger and spite mirrored Latifa's fear of the Taliban and the personal effects she felt due to their tyranny. Latifa's tone also helps the reader understand that the Taliban are not Afghan people. She also explains that Only the Taliban are radical Muslims. For example, she clearly states, "I would pray that these Taliban, who in their ignorance of the Quran dare invent laws that are inhuman and contrary to sacred scripture, learn to respect the holy book as we Afghans do and have always done." Latifa excels in her attempt to distinguish herself and her people from these foreign Talibani invaders. Therefore, the reader gleans a lot about everyday, normal Muslims instead of the common stereotypes we hear here in America, which only pertain to the radical ones, such as the Taliban. I must say that I disliked Latifa's organization qualities. However, one particular thing that I did enjoy very much about this book was the symbolism of feminism. Often, Latifa, her sister, and her mother symbolized that the female spirit still lived in the heart of these oppressed people. The fact that these women could still remain feminist in such an oppressive society against women is remarkable. For example, they fiercely vied for equality of working and learning. They would have been killed if they marched down the street screaming their views. But Latifa and her sister Soraya ran an underground school to educate women on the importance of learning and the history of the world. Latifa's mother, a doctor who can no longer work outside the home, gave medical treatment to people secretly in her home. Oftentimes, her patients were victims of the Taliban's brutality. In the end, I must say that despite the lack of organization and despite the confusing flashbacks, this book was exceptional. I thoroughly recommend this book to everyone. In fact, I urge anyone and everyone, young or old, to read this book. It is truly enlightening and will truly open our eyes. I feel in order to have a worldly opinion, you must know the full story. I feel like as Americans, we have a lot of stereotypes of Arabs and the religion of Islam. This book abolished all of those stereotypes I had in the back of my mind and truly opened my eyes to the reality of the situation in the Middle East. Not only that, but it also makes me hungry for more, to realize what else is going on and what else I don't know. It will truly change your mind around. I urge you to read this book. I hope you enjoy it as much as me. Thank you.